Well, I think one of the things I like about both places is seeing a system kind of work from beginning to end. And it's easy for me to get excited in the details, but it's really a lot more satisfying when something actually like happens the way you, not necessarily the way you planned it, but it actually ends up working at the end. So I like that in both cases. In Boulder, it's really fun to market products locally, because this is a town that values the local food movement on organic food, and I can make good money selling small quantities of stuff to people, and that's fun. And I know that just because of my position in life, I don't really have the resources to have like a large acreage and see real big field crops get produced. That would be satisfying too. But in my case, the satisfaction comes from having being a part of a local food movement, seeing my duck end up in a newspaper article about as a featured dish, and that's kind of cool. And having people that stop by and say, hey, you have this, and hey, you have that, and I enjoy that part of it here. Making the inputs kind of work in kind of as an organic concept and like a permaculture concept where your byproducts become your inputs, and that's fun too. In Zambia, I think it's the real satisfaction for me in Zambia is maybe less to do with like really seeing a crop mature and be sold than to see people that are coming from a position of real vulnerability and not having a lot of ways to improve their life, to being able to just by hard work, with the blessing of land and rain, be able to turn that into a future for themselves. I think ideological constraints are there. Yeah, I mean, sometimes like I have to make a choice. Am I going to go with organic feed or all natural feed? And then I've got in Boulder, there's so many people that feel so strongly about so many different ideas. There's so many people that are like, I don't want any soy or corn in the feed of the animal that I eat, and that's just. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult to do that. And yeah, so I have to say no to certain things. And I don't do organic feed either. I prefer to have local feed grown by farms in the area, than organic feed that I may have to get trucked in from I don't know where. And also, it's just one of those cost things that there's a certain point. It's like, okay, it's locally grown, it's pasture raised, it's not organic. It's good enough for most people. And I think one way to think about it just in terms of business is that you've got to do what your customer wants, but you have to kind of average your customer, because not everybody is the same and not everybody has the same. Some people want it a little bit cheaper and some people want it a little bit pure or ideologically whatever. And you have to kind of we have to have our backstop position somewhere. At some point you have to have like, this is something I won't do. But I think sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot by being a bit dogmatic instead of looking at the system holistically and thinking like, how can I do the best job with what I've got? Because I don't think there's around here in the Boulder area. There's plenty of people who have started out very idealistic and either just gone out of business or ran out of energy, which is the same thing, or had to say, well, I'm going to be more pragmatic about it. I think I do it. I can't really explain why I do it. I mean, to me, I love the connection with creation, with life, with seeing nature, with just being a part of reality, and I love just feeding my kids out of the backyard, and let's go out in the field and I love that, and I think if I couldn't figure out a way to make money, I'd still be doing it, and that's probably why a lot of farmers are kind of underpaid, is because they probably would keep doing it even if they weren't making money.